everybody, to another edition of Pillar to Post here on the 97.3 ESPN YouTube channel. Mike Gill, Tom Morgan, recapping Raw from last night, which might have been one of the worst Raws in the history of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, I would say so. We were missing a few components. It was very short-handed. It was kind of one of those things where we knew Randy Orton was going to be the number one contender for the WWE Championship. We had to make it interesting to have a guy like Roman Reigns, who was trying to go for that title at WrestleMania. Randy Orton, who had a feud with Seth Rollins, and then, hey, for better flavor here, how about a side of Ryback? Okay, well, let's go with Ryback. He's our lucky guy, not Dolph Ziggler.
Daniel Bryan wasn't on the show.
Daniel Bryan wasn't even on the show.
No authority.
No authority. Well, if you count the authority of Kane and the J&J security, they were there, but Triple H and Stephanie no.
Heck, you didn't even have Michael Cole last night, and I'm not the biggest Cole fan in the world, but man, Byron Saxton, woo! It was terrible.
It's one of those things where you realize what you have when you don't have it anymore, and that's a guy who's very green. I know you told me he announced did some play-by-play with NXT, which I don't really watch a whole lot because it's on the WWE Network, which I still don't have, which you can get for $9.99 a month. But
this guy's shilling for a product he doesn't
own.
own.
Man, I want some T-shirts. Give me some shirts. I want my own ice cream bars. But yeah, so I was very disappointed. Booker T was actually the funniest though with all that because Byron would send it to Booker T for conversation, and he would just look at him and not say a word.
It was bad.
Yeah,
it was really
so
bad. It was uncomfortably bad almost at times. So the Raw was really bad last night. So there's not a really lot to dissect. Although we did get our Extreme Rules Championship match, which you just mentioned. Orton versus Rollins will be the championship match. Rematch of WrestleMania.
Sure.
So, it was a good match. Not as great as we thought it could be, but those guys can really put on a 5-star if they really want to. So, I don't have a problem with that, but the question really means then, all right, where's Reigns going to go? It looks like he's going to go with Big Show. Are you excited about a Big Show Reigns program?
Well, they've had a feud already, and they wrestled probably for the 10th time on Monday Night Raw. I hope that doesn't happen. And that was kind of the feud he had before Royal Rumble, if I understand. So, I think this was just part of that, what they were doing on Raw.
It looks like, other than that, we don't have a whole heck of a lot that is materializing from this. But one question we want to get into, since the Raw was not very good and we don't have a lot of things materializing. Number one, we do want to talk real quick about AJ Lee abruptly retiring, and I guess the WWE, it seems that they must have known ahead of time because they kind of gave her WrestleMania moment, it seems like, and then she hung up the Converse.
Right. Well, obviously, no surprise to a certain extent because, married to CM Punk, and you kind of wondered if she was going to stick around. Here's my belief, and I've kind of gotten a few, Instagram photos from a few of the NXT wrestlers who are divas. Perhaps AJ Lee is pregnant.
Interesting. But then she would retire because of that?
Well,
you think she comes back at any point?
Maybe.
Is she a Hall of Famer?
Man, that's
she had that long reign.
She did have that long reign. She was GM at one point.
She went
appointed by Vince McMahon himself.
Right.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see her as a Hall of Fame. Listen, there's only so many slots you can fill in the Hall of Fame, so eventually she will.
Well, I don't know that you just saw Alundra Blaze get put in this particular Hall of Fame class, and she was really a pun intended, but a trailblazer.
Sure.
And she is a woman that really started it, and then Lita was in the year before, and then Trish Stratus was in recently. So I could see maybe AJ down the line, but I don't know that she really had a big rivalry. Lita had Trish, and Alundra was one of the first, and she made the big change from WWE or back then F to WCW. So, but I always liked AJ. She was kind of like the first kind of anti-diva. I'm a big fan of Paige.
Right.
I'm trying to get to Manchester for sometime in August, Paige. So we'll see if we can meet up. You and I.
Are you really going to Manchester?
I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm pricing it. So, man, the flights are like $1,000 from Philly to from Philly to UK. But anyway, so we just wanted to mention AJ. But one question we wanted to bring up today on Pillar to Post is the next really big event coming up would be the Money in the Bank. Right. Now that the Money in the Bank briefcase has been cashed in, there is no Money in the Bank holder. We know the Money in the Bank pay-per-view will be coming up shortly. So, who's the next guy that should get the briefcase?
Yeah, you've had guys like John Cena hold the briefcase before. You've had guys like Daniel Bryan with the briefcase. What would be that one wrestler that's due to have a briefcase that could come in at the end of a match and cash and shock us all and do to hold the title. You got to have someone like Bad News Barrett in there. I think Bray Wyatt would be another guy. But I don't know how Bray Wyatt would do in a ladder match. I mean, did he have a ladder match with Dean Ambrose? That was an ambulance match he had. So Dean Ambrose is another good guy. I think is due for a briefcase for sure.
Yeah,
those are my top three coming up.
Those are good top threes. My top three would be Bray Wyatt would be one of my three that I think would be in there because he seems like kind of like the Undertaker who didn't need to have a championship. So he would be an unconventional guy to be in a main event picture, but that would kind of manufacture a way for him to be in there without having to be in there and still be on the side and kind of wreak some havoc that way.
Sure.
So he would be one guy. A second guy that I would think you would have to keep an eye on anyway, I guess would be Ambrose. He's the third guy of the Shield and has not been in the championship picture at this point. So I could see him being a part of that as well. And man, who else would be a third guy? I had a guy the other day I was thinking about, and I can't remember who as we're doing the show. I got a little stage fright here all of a sudden. I can't remember who I'm thinking about. I'll think about it in a minute. But Bray Wyatt was the number one guy.
Right.
Do you put Reigns in there? Do you give him the briefcase?
I
try to think about the guy I was talking about.
Now that he's won the Royal Rumble, do you give him those two huge title shots there? Him winning the briefcase and winning the Royal Rumble in the same year.
Rusev was my other guy.
Rusev was a great one.
Rusev was my other guy.
Yeah, Rusev would be great.
Sorry to cut you off.
No. That's great. I mean, and I was thinking about Dolph Ziggler in my head too. But you wouldn't remember this, but Dolph Ziggler was a world title holder at one point.
Yeah.
So someone like Rusev, Ambrose is great. Bray Wyatt, we could both agree on.
Rusev was really my number two. Ambrose would be my number three.
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt and Rusev were really 1 and 1A.
Yeah.
Because I think Rusev, now that he loses, he loses, but then he focuses on something else, and maybe they push him to that next ladder from U.S. to maybe he jumps right over Intercontinental. Although I wouldn't be surprised if a Finn Balor, came right from NXT. You saw Neville last night fight, by the way. Rollins was a great match.
Sure.
And they brought him right in and let him fight Rollins.
The only highlight of the night.
It was. But Finn Balor would be a guy that would be a dark horse for me from NXT. Him or Sami Zayn.
Well, it's funny that you said that too, because John Cena has been holding these open invitational U.S. title matches that in the last 2 weeks. This past week he wrestled Stardust for the U.S. title. Fell asleep.
It's actually a good match.
But the thing is, though, Cena is holding if he continues with these open invitations. Let's say he beats Rusev at Extreme Rules for the rubber match. Okay, now he keeps doing these open invitations. What if that's a great opportunity for someone like Sami Zayn to come in and beat John Cena? You remember John Cena, how he was debuted in the WWE.
Yeah, did you hear the story about that last night? They talked about that on the Jericho podcast. Was apparently Undertaker was supposed to be in that spot, but he couldn't make the event. So they just grabbed him and said, "Kid, get out there."
Right.
And
he
John
wrestled
Cena
Kurt Angle.
fought Kurt Angle, and John Cena was born.
Yeah.
He was the prototype back then.
It was so funny that you said that too, because I remember after that match they showed Taker and Cena backstage.
That's right.
Taker said, "Good job, kid."
Yeah.
And so that's very interesting.
So those are my three. You mentioned your three, and then some wild cards, some NXT guys. I think that would be very interesting because, quite frankly, Tom, you don't get to see NXT, but it's almost like WWE created its own competition within its own brand because they don't have competition. It's like their own brand is pushing them to make their product better because a lot of people, you're hearing the NXT chants now at Raw events.
Right.
So, because obviously there is no number two. TNA is so far off. Ring of Honor, they are so far off production-wise that there's just no other option right now. But the NXT product seems to be their biggest competition. And you wonder if guys want to make the jump up because of their possible character development being stunted.
Yeah, well, I mean, it really is their own development league now. And they finally have something that's a great minor league system that everyone can watch, everyone can follow. Back when Ohio Valley Wrestling was big, you only heard about certain wrestlers like Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton and John Cena on the internet. And Batista on the internet.
Four
and
all
those
came
four
out
guys,
together.
and they came together. But you never really saw them until you watched it, on Raw. Well, now you could see Neville and Sami Zayn. You saw guys like Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins who were in NXT. Big E Langston. These are guys that came from NXT.
The New Day.
The New Day. Now,
sucks.
Now you have the New Day, which you had Big E at a great spot. Which, by the way, they lost again on Monday Night Raw. But
I'm glad that they are embracing some of these chants, though. The New Day sucks, and they brought it up and they're and utilizing that. They did it with somebody else last night too. The show was so bad, I'm having trouble looking back and trying to remember some of the things.
Yeah.
But no Heyman last night. Obviously, no Brock.
Right.
No Triple H. No Stephanie. No Sting. We probably won't see him for a while. So no Bray, no Rusev last night either, I don't think. So no Daniel Bryan either.
Right.
So a very slow developing Raw last night. But with that being said, let me give my WWE Network pick.
Okay.
All right, a couple things on the WWE Network picks here for you. Number one, watched the Jericho podcast last night, and it was okay. Him and Cena, a little joking here and there. Not the hardest hitting questions. He asked Cena if he would want to turn heel. And, he kind of danced around that question a little bit there. I watched WrestleMania X7. Was it 17? Was The Rock and Hogan?
Yeah.
Watched that on...
That was a good one. That was the NWO. And
I watched that on Sunday. Scott Hall versus Austin.
Right.
Hogan versus Rock.
Who did Nash wrestle?
Oh, it was Jericho versus Triple H closed the show out.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Nash didn't fight anybody. He came in and kind of got involved in the
other matches.
Actually, I could be wrong about that, but it was a good WrestleMania. X7 in Toronto, Alberta, Canada, which we're giving away a trip on 97.3 ESPN.com for Memorial Day weekend if you want to go see some baseball in Toronto. I've been to Toronto. I love it.
Yeah.
It's a great.
You are too? So are we.
Yeah.
How about that? I'll be darned.
We one big happy family here. All right, that's Pillar to Post for this week. Slow Raw week, but good Money in the Bank conversation. Who do you think should be the next Money in the Bank winner? You can leave it in the comments section below. Any final thoughts on when are you getting the W? It's $9.99 a month, dude.
The problem with me is this. I have I should get it for $9.99 a month, whatever. But it's
this month it's free coming up in April.
It's free. Yeah,
April's free.
I should just do it. No, the thing of it is I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't. I mean, the only time I really watch TV is when I sit and watch.
For $9.99, it's worth having just for the pay-per-view.
Just to have the pay-per-view. I know, but I don't even stay up and watch the pay-per-views because I get up at 3 in the morning every day.
You can watch it the next day. I mean, when you go home.
Well, yeah, I could do that. Yeah, but I mean, you're
missing out on all this great stuff.
I watch so much.
WrestleMania X7.
I know, but the thing is though, and some of you can relate to this. You can actually watch some of the stuff on YouTube as well. All you gotta do is just Google it and you can watch. I watched WrestleMania 10 on YouTube.
The WWE paid me.
It was for free.
That's a joke.
But no, it's a great deal, and I should definitely do it. But it's so hard. I don't watch TV. So.
All right, that's Pillar to Post. He's Tom. I'm Mike. We'll be back with you if something breaks or next week after Raw with another recap of hopefully what will be a better show here on Pillar to Post.
$9.99 a month.